Hi everyone, welcome to this reading. So happy Father's Day to all the fathers that are out there. I hope you guys have a lovely day. And it is gray and rainy here and I love it. So in love with this weather right now. Oh my god. So let's go ahead. We're just going to get into this. Channel members, you will have a collective message that posts today. It'll probably post around the same time this video does, so definitely check that out. And if you're interested in channel memberships, that link will be in the description box below. High Priestess tier, you'll have a video that comes out Monday or Tuesday. So definitely keep an eye out for that. So let's go ahead. I'm going to be pulling from this deck again. I don't know why I'm really feeling this deck right now. Okay. Taking a step aside. And allowing Spirit to pass through me. Opening up to receive information. Okay. Oh, I'm feeling like higher perspective energy. There may be a little bit of confusion, but there's something about a higher perspective is being attained. It's a little bit of a shaky process before we get to that. Okay, let's see. Oh, bottom I'm hearing. Okay, we're going to do this. And I'm actually hearing that I have to pull the bottom first. So I have to read for the bottom first. So let's get into this. The bottom is synchronicity. And if you're new to my channel, I always read the book when I use this deck because I honestly feel like the magic is in her book. So let's see. Onus Mundus, this is synchronicity here. Source Destiny, the miraculous message. The Onus Mundus is the presiding deity of alchemy. It arrives to remind us that we are not alone in our queries or our journey. What are we here to do? What pulls us forward? Unanswerable questions are timeless fuel for the flames of transformation. Mystics before us have uttered the same questions while tinkering in their laboratory. Do not underestimate the brave act of your attention to the detail of your daily life, to the ecology of our world. What you notice matters. You matter. When this card arrives, sacred messages abound. Everything is a living symbol, a synchronicity. Its guidance is sent directly from the alchemists who have come before you to encourage you along the way. See the deeper meaning of what is in front of you in this very moment. The new eye opens. And to ponder is the miracle of your conception. When Onus Mundus appears, sometimes something you cannot yet see is taking shape. It will soon emerge to support you. Trust, breathe, the miracle awaits. And synchronicity is the way the world of mysteries claims our attention. Something is sure to stick out to you today. A word, an image, lyric, a memory. Take note. So this is really beautiful energy. Whoever this message is for, you have a lot of synchronicities that are taking place around you right now. If you're not experiencing that, this message probably isn't for you. Whenever I pull Onus Mundus from this deck, I feel like it goes beyond like seeing 1111, seeing, you know, numbers here and there. When this card falls out, it's usually it's almost as if the entire universe is continuously interacting in a particular way. There's almost like this energy of, like I said, a higher perspective that's being gained, but as we're zooming out to get this higher perspective, there's some sort of cycle that's beginning to close. And I don't mean like the end of a cycle. I mean, it's getting smaller and smaller. Like we're noticing the signposts rapidly firing, right? And it's because it's locking into this particular point, this diamond here that has been forged out of pressure and time. Okay, so let's go over to iron. Okay, we have ferrum, iron. This is magnetism, reliability, and Mars. Iron is a reliable metal that can withstand great pressure. Over the centuries, we have come to utilize this metal extensively, mixing it with carbon to create the steel, bridges, highways, and infrastructures that span across the globe in alchemy. Iron is associated with the planet Mars and shares its qualities of being strong, assertive, and potentially warlike. When the iron card appears, there is a call to rely on the reliable, what truly supports you, what have you already built. Iron dwells at the center of the earth, so when all else feels lost, go inward. There is a deep magnet that pulls you toward what is steady and true. For the moment, put your words and weapons down and let yourself be held by the structure that is already in place. To ponder iron inner bloodstream. In this process of this zooming out, there is a deeper sense of going within. Right? So that's oftentimes how we get that higher perspective, is by going within, withdrawing, maybe even a retreating, in order to be able to go within and to find the answers that we're looking for, to find the stability that we're looking for. Usually when we're looking for that stability in the external world, that's when we don't find it, right? We have to find it within ourselves first. And so someone here, this may be the process that are taking place right now. Particularly important is going to be the root chakra, sacral chakra, for whoever this message is for, because of these colors that are on this card. For me at this moment, these are the colors that are sticking out on the table. So something about that sacral space, the root center, how we stabilize ourselves, how we create stability inside of our own life, how we create comfort in our own lives. So let's go over to this antimony. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Okay. We have Stibus, antimony, wildness, fierceness, hunger. In medieval times, antimony became known as the gray wolf of alchemy. This was due to the metalloid's unpredictable qualities and its ability to eat away at materials in the laboratory. Gold is one of the few materials to withstand contact with it. For these reasons, this card must be read with delicacy. On one hand, it represents the wild and free spirit that longs to express itself in the world. On the other hand, it represents a fierceness that can turn destructive and corrosive at the drop of a hat. The message here is clear. Channel the gray wolf's energy toward creativity. Challenge it to come out from the shadows and express itself. Embark on the creative project or adventure that's calling to you, rather than focusing on why you can't. Once you begin, don't quit. The gray wolf responds to respect, not repression. To ponder, corrosion is medicine. Okay, and here I'm being told to read the other one. So another interpretation of this material is that something is eating away or wearing away at the situation or person. Let this possibility open to deeper revelation. So for some of you, you may have something that's eating away at you, and it's very important to go within and analyze that, to really look at that, right? Here, like many of the alchemic cards, the great wolf can most easily be felt through the laboratory of the human body. Dance, run, shake, breathe. So there may even be like this overabundance of energy that's taking place right now. And so there's an importance to ground for someone. It does look like, because there's a lot of synchronicity, we may be getting carried away in some aspect of that. Not to like negate it, not to say that it's not important. It's very important. It's just that we may be a little ungrounded in almost a self-destructive way if we don't ground that energy. This energy of antimony, this is the energy that is best used for creative projects, for adventures, for doing things that are creative and productive inside of our life. When this goes unchecked, this is something that can actually be quite a destructive force. It can be something that makes us follow flights of fancy and go in directions that later on we really regret, right? There's something that here too, that it's almost like this grr. It's like yeah, it feels like something that might possibly be eating away at somebody, something that we're having a little bit of a hard time facing for someone. And so this is a really good idea to ground and center and really go within that inner child space of the sacral chakra and like really figure out what that might be. I'm not going to read the book for this. The last card is the great work. When we talk about the great work is essentially the whole point of it all, right? What's being created out of this. There's some sort of tension here that's happening. So there's something that has occurred inside of our life that maybe we have to ground ourselves and figure out our own answers about. The wolf makes me think running free. There's some sort of need for freedom or a desire for freedom, or maybe we ran for our freedom in some situation that possibly ended. There seems to be some energy that's residual from that. And what is this energy? The Page of Pentacles. For some of you, this can represent that you didn't actually want this to end, that you wanted this to be a new beginning. For others of you, this is wanting to break free and have a new beginning elsewhere, right? This can be anything. This can be something within your your family. This can be something inside your spiritual path. This can be an ending with a person. It can be an ending at your job. It can be an ending of a phase of your life, right? There seems to be some sort of grief that might need to be worked through inside the situation. There's a heaviness that I'm feeling as I'm stepping into that. Let's see. What was genuinely desired here was success. So whatever ended, it's not something that we actually wanted to end. We actually wanted success in whatever this is. The card that's showing up on the bottom is kind of telling me a little bit more about that here. And I noticed I just dropped the cards, which is kind of clumsy. So when we act clumsy, we act a little out of character, right? So we may have out of character either not been truly honest or truly authentic in the situation, or we may have snuck away from the situation. Again, this idea of like running free like this gray wolf. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, let's get a little bit behind this. There is a restlessness of spirit, right? There's a restlessness of spirit for whoever this message is for, and that's not a bad thing. That's an amazing thing, actually. I have a very restless spirit. And for me, that's what fuels me going and exploring so much and reading so much and learning so much. So whoever this message is for, you might have, like me, you might have a prominent air inside of your chart. There is this element that's going on here that at the very core of our spirituality, this is our spiritual core. We are a restless spirit. We're here to learn. We're here to explore. We're here to get into things. And but there's also a wildness about it, right? Something that can't be tamed. And I really like this card for that reason. I really like this card for that reason. There's something that can't be tamed at the very core of who we are. Okay. Again, this feeling of having removed ourselves from something. When we have the High Priestess, that's what the High Priestess does. She removes herself from the world and she observes. So you may be observing something right now. It's giving me almost that like predatory instinct of the wolf, like not in a negative way, but in that I'm watching you, right? I've withdrawn and now I'm watching you and I'm observing. So someone here may be doing that. You may even have it withdrawn from a particular ending. Again, this sort of iron and Mars is really throwing like tower vibes to me because of the death card over here, which is Scorpio and Mars, right? There's this energy over here that's going on that is like I'm withdrawing in order to get my own intuition about this. And this is where the synchronicity comes in also, right? The further we're getting from it, the more the cycle seems to be breaking down and we see the point. So someone here, you may be seeing the big point behind something. This feeling of restlessness, though, as I'm getting deeper and deeper into this reading, it's like more and more restless. For someone, it's like the restlessness is still there, but we're not necessarily identifying with that experience because we are gaining this higher perspective here with this synchronicity. Okay, I'm being told I have to take it. So I pulled 2 cards. I'm not taking the second card. I'm taking the card that was on the bottom there. And so that's the one that we're going to read. Okay. Now the magnum opus, the great work, in the book, she talks about how this is often something that's happening behind the scenes, something that we don't realize. There's something here that is full of potential that's happening, right? It's like a refining of our own potential. And this is happening deep inside our spaces where like it's like the energy is moving and maybe it's not happening in our 3D. Maybe it is. But the messages are coming through inside of our 3D. And this is a sign that something is happening on very deep levels. This is something that we seem to be being patient for, but I don't know that whoever this message is for, that you actually realize what it is, right? We have our idea of what it's supposed to be and what it's supposed to look like, but we don't necessarily know what it is. She talks about that in the book, that if we think we know what the great work is, we're not actually working on the great work. It's something that we usually don't even notice is happening. And so that's what I see is happening here. Now the bottom of the deck here is the Lovers. I feel that this goes along with coagulatio, which is coagulation. Lover's card here, it doesn't necessarily have to be about a love relationship or anything like that. With this card, what we're talking about is we're talking about alchemy itself. This is the first like major alchemical card that shows up inside of the major arcana. So let's see. Okay. Okay. So coagulatio is the great alchemical operation of Earth. By way of this operation, we experience that which was fluid churning into a solid formation. The formerly disparate ingredients begin adhering together into a fixed and solid unit. The result is visible, reliable, and eventually concrete. When you hear the phrase, "it is finally taking shape," coagulation is underway. The shadow aspect of coagulation is that the elements may have come together without much awareness, and in turn they become unconsciously attached. Inertia and resentment set in. The parts can no longer separate if they wish to. Many long-term relationships have coagulation aspects, a naturally occurring codependency by which both parties feel unseen or unknown as individuals. The work of coagulation is to experience the merging with others while not losing oneself in the mush. To ponder merging into traffic. Okay. And when this card appears, the alchemist must discern whether the earth element is helping or hindering the work. Is the attachment one of benevolence or convenience? And sulfur and lead are agents of coagulation. Take note if these cards appear in the same reading, as it would indicate an advanced state of stuckness. So we don't necessarily have those inside this reading. I want to say, because the great work is present, this actually has a lighter tone to it. This is something that is coming together, right? There may have been something here that we had to get answers about within ourselves, and we got those answers for ourselves, and we stayed true to ourselves in some way. And because of this, the great work has happened. This is allowing energy to move, and now we're finding that different pieces inside of our life are coming together in just the right way, right? It may not necessarily be the way that we expected, as most things usually aren't, but they're coming together in a new way. For some of you, you set off the journey that is starting this. So this is, again, higher perspective is factoring in very heavily into this, and so is the following of this synchronicity here for some of you. And it's interesting because the thing about this synchronicity is almost like for some of you, there's like two storylines that are taking place inside of the synchronicity. The reason why I'm saying it is we have snakes going one way and then a snakes going an opposite way. It's for a few of you, it's almost like you have synchronicities over here, synchronicities over here, and you know that instead of following either one of them, they're pointing you to like this middle path. It's like a third way, right? And I find that kind of interesting. So yeah, this is a little bit shorter, but I'm going to leave this here because I feel like this is all this is trying to say to me. So if this resonates with you, awesome. Fathers out there, again, happy Father's Day if I didn't say that in the beginning. And until next time.